What explains the delay in the Supreme Court issuing a ruling on Trump's immunity claim? All right, well, let's have one of you experts, first of all, explain what is the immunity claim. This is one of his 4 trials that he was supposed to have before the election took place. You know, don't get me started on that because I go off on that every week. They should have done this. They had all the time in the world. Merrick Garland, another useless apparatchik from the Democratic Party who couldn't get it done. The immunity claim. This is the one where Trump is claiming that you can't put me on trial for anything because as president, I can basically do anything, including kill people. Right?
I had immunity.
And it's 114
In the latest episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, former Congressman Adam Kinzinger and former Governor Andrew Cuomo joined Maher for a candid and hard-hitting discussion. Neither Maher nor Cuomo held back as they sharply criticized what they described as a sluggish and increasingly politicized judicial system. They pointed out that the ongoing delay, over 100 days without a decision, isn't merely a matter of scheduling. It's eroding public confidence in one of the nation's most vital institutions. The conversation was sharp, timely, and packed with brutally honest insights into the current state of American politics, both at home and abroad. Early in the discussion, they tackled the Supreme Court's now infamous delay in ruling on Donald Trump's claim of presidential immunity. At the heart of their critique was a broader concern that such delays create the perception that our courts are more concerned with political theater than with delivering justice. And at a time when public trust is already fragile, that message couldn't come at a worse moment.
One thing when you put out a big landmark decision like Roe versus Wade and you do it at the end of a term because, abortion's been a certain policy for 50 years. This is a time of the essence, and somebody is trying to delay. That said, even if it comes out next week, there is still, Judge Chuckin gave 88 days until the trial started. I could see her still starting the trial in September. Donald Trump will say it's too close to the election, and she'll say, you're the one that appealed. I was ready to go at the beginning of the year. So I still think it's possible that this goes.
Yeah, but you know what's scary about this, from my point of view? The trials in New York, you had Florida, Georgia, and 2 in New York. The 2 trials in New York, New Yorkers said, 66% said the justice system is politicized. And there's nobody in New York who likes Trump. And still, 60.
One of the most illuminating segments of the episode centered on Donald Trump and his uncanny ability to turn legal troubles into political ammunition. Maher and Cuomo delved into how Trump's involvement in high-profile cases, like the New York hush money trial, hasn't weakened him politically. On the contrary, it's fortified his standing. What would be career-ending scandals for most politicians have instead become rallying cries for Trump's base and lucrative fundraising tools. His supporters don't see these indictments as signs of guilt. They view them as evidence that the political establishment is trying to silence him. Each new charge reinforces his image as a defiant outsider battling a system he claims is rigged against him. Trump has effectively seized control of the narrative, using it to his advantage at every turn. Rather than being sidelined by legal scrutiny, he stays in the headlines, galvanizes his supporters, and remains a dominant force in the national political conversation.
Paying the same price for these verdicts because they believe it is political. And you want to talk about a threat to democracy. When you have this country believing you're playing politics with the justice system, and you're trying to put people in jail or convict them for political reasons, then we have a real problem.
The conversation extended well beyond Trump as Cuomo and Kinzinger examined how this era of legal and political spectacle is affecting the broader justice system. They highlighted a disturbing trend: the growing public perception that the courts are being weaponized to settle political scores, even when that may not be true. This perception is dangerous because it erodes trust in institutions that are supposed to be impartial. Instead of offering resolution or clarity, legal battles are deepening America's political divide. While Trump may be the most visible example, both major parties have increasingly turned legal conflicts into tools for fundraising and political messaging. Each indictment or investigation becomes another partisan flashpoint, contributing to a climate where legal proceedings are viewed less as matters of justice and more as political theater. This isn't just about one individual, it's becoming a widespread political tactic, one that fuels division, deepens mistrust, and further distances the justice system from the people it's meant to serve.
The one he got convicted for was the greatest fundraising bonanza ever. He was lagging behind Biden, and now he's pulled quite a bit ahead. That trial was the greatest reason people had to send their checks for 5, 10, 25, whatever dollars to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it's a Hobson's choice always with him, because he's always guilty.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not guilty of any of these crimes, but the repercussions might be worse. I mean, this is something politicians always had to face. Remember when Obama came to office, they were like, how can you not put those people in jail, those Wall Street people? And Obama was like, yeah, that would feel good, and it is the right thing to do, but it's also more the wrong thing to do because it'll tank the whole economy. Those are the kind of tough decisions that you have to make. So I was always with you on the one in New York, the hush money trial. I don't think they should have brought that one. It was just always going to look like a sex case, and people were always just going to look at it that way. So anyway.
That case, the Attorney General's case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. And if his name was not Donald Trump, and if he wasn't running for president, the former AG in New York, I'm telling you, that case would have never been brought. And that's what is offensive to people. And it should be, because if there's anything left, it's belief in the justice system.
Just heard the one about trying to overthrow the government of the United States. That's the main thing. He tried to overthrow the government of the United States.
There's no denying that Trump has, so far, successfully leveraged his legal troubles to reinforce his image as the ultimate political outsider. However, as Maher and the panel pointed out, this strategy has its limits. If these legal challenges lead to convictions, or if independent voters grow weary of the constant controversy, his political momentum could begin to falter. This discussion wasn't just about Trump. It served as a lens into the broader state of American politics. It underscored the fragility of public trust and the increasingly blurred line between justice and political theater. Trump's dominance of the news cycle is a double-edged sword. While it keeps him in the spotlight and energizes his base, it also ensures his legal battles remain front and center for the broader electorate. If public perception shifts, if voters begin to see these courtroom appearances as legitimate signs of wrongdoing rather than persecution, it could have serious implications for his long-term political viability.